White men are perpetually trying to chase a sense of masculinity they wrote themselves out of when they decided that everyone else's expression of masculinity was either brutish or effeminate. Let me explain. I just read RFK Jr. versus the Animal Kingdom by Aaron Vanderhoof over at Vanity Fair, and it got me thinking about all of those like how to be a man boot camps that men, especially white men, pay for. If you don't know what these are, they are essentially like summer camp style retreats where men who need to restore their masculinity go to crawl in the mud, sleep in the dirt, and get yelled at by a beefy dude in hopes that said beefy dude will be their guide back to the masculinity they seek. I'm not going to summarize the article itself since it's pretty much a rundown of RFK Jr.'s animal obsession, but what I did find interesting is that it reminds us that this man is an enemy of settled science. And sometimes when you hear him speak, you can kind of hear that he may believe that this distrust of modern medicine is synonymous with a rugged manliness that men like him are constantly chasing. Now, imagine if any national leader in the global south was spearheading an anti-modern medicine campaign. Would they not be classified as uncivilized, uneducated, or whatever alarming dog whistle they can find to ridicule them? Feels like men who carry around this sense of shame toward their masculinity often idealize the very things they bring up as signs that a certain group of people are backward. They make fun of Africans for living in huts, but are literally paying beefy men thousands of dollars to yell and torture them in the wilderness, hoping that they will submit to the masculinity that they're looking for in these summer camps. This is kind of like the trashy if you're poor, classy if you're rich meme. White men especially often get away with idealizing a sense of barbarism because as a collective group, they are insecure about their masculinity. They are insecure that in their minds, they have assigned Black men the highest position on the totem pole and are making desperate attempts to reclassify themselves as the pillars of masculinity. I find this hilarious because it was them who assigned everyone else the label of brutes in some cases, like with African men, and effeminate in other cases, like with Asian men. It goes to show that racism is a pathogen that convinces you to hate the things you actually crave that will liberate you. That's why whiteness will also always seek to borrow and steal from others because it always has defined itself separate from everyone else and therefore dependent on everyone else's existence. In a sense, it trapped itself into oppression while the rest of us learned to live free again without it.